the logical me that can't ignore what I actually see in real life, there's plenty of examples that suggest that Black men think otherwise.
Yeah.
And it's puzzling to me, man. I wonder, I get interested in what experiences men have had that would cause them to see a Black woman as their enemy. Because if you've had 3 experiences and all 3 are negative,
right,
and all 3 had a very common look, feel, and just say look and feel, that look and feel was probably no longer appealing to you.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Now you could have chosen bad. Maybe it's your decision making.
And you're the common denominator.
And you're the common denominator.
Correct.
Is the root of it. How fortunate am I that this is preposterous to me?
You're very fortunate. And I'll tell you something. There have been instances I've caught myself. I had a situation, a scenario, a relationship that went terribly wrong eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you package that thing up. And that's what I never want to see this again. It wasn't a Black woman that does this. It's a woman that does this. You dislike the type of characteristics and character and habits that this person displayed.
Yeah.
You can remove the fact that she was a Black woman.
They tried to count me out. I'ma gon' count me in. Fill up my bank account. Now I got something to spend.
We start on the laughs every time.
Yeah.
And we off. Yes, sir. Welcome to the Dear Son Show, where we have meaningful conversations in real time to avoid the mistake of having to face the term, I wish I knew then what I know now. Yeah. I'm one of your hosts, James Johnson.
James Johnson is back.
Yeah, James Johnson back, man. We at the top, you know how we do. We like to check in, see how everything been going with you, man. What your week look like? What you got going?
It's been a good week.
Been a good week.
Another one of them long days, quick weeks.
Yeah.
Look up, it's Thursday.
I like
it. Technically it's Friday. That's what I used to do in corporate, man. After the day is over, after the work day is over, it's the next calendar day immediately. Immediately. Yeah, it's probably a lot to unpack in that.
Made it through homecoming, made it through the festivities.
Man,
My boy cut a rug in the middle of the field on the 50-yard line.
It's out there for public consumption now.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it was intentional, but had a little technical issue. Wifey's phone couldn't record. So Eden had to record with the iPhone 8. So the quality, I had to tell you it was me.
Yeah.
And I can deny it.
Yeah, depending on how it turned out, but it went well.
Yeah,
Everything
man,
went good.
It was good, man. It was one of the moments again, like we talked about it on the other side of it, going into it.
Yeah,
senior years, senior moments, the last of this, the last of that.
Right.
So we did it last year, and then this is, she's a senior this year, so that's it. When I posted it, the people that were, providing feedback, it was people like, man, that's dope. That's cool. Saying that daddy daughter dance. And I didn't do it for people to say that.
Right.
But when getting that feedback, I was like, you know what? That is something I probably need to be taking in more moments for sure.
Timestamp.
For sure.
Timestamp.
Y'all was out there?
Yeah. We slid out. That weather changed on us. So I'm all for everything now.
They canceled it, right? Or cut it short?
The game?
Yeah.
I don't know. I left.
Oh,
so I couldn't tell you.
Well, I got news for you. They did.
I slid through that halftime. It was about 2 minutes left, 3 minutes left in the third. I had seen enough, man. Running them young men in the ground. I can't witness this.
It's bad. Keisha brought Eden home, and she was like, I got to go back right now to get Imani because they called the game because of the weather.
Wow.
So you left right before that.
Before it.
Soon after, shut it down.
That weather got real bad, man. That sky opened up. So it was real bad. So I'm not surprised about that.
Yeah, man, I was so upset when
Yeah.
Eli said he need to go home. I was so mad. I was like, dang.
He saved you. Look, that's why I say he saved you.
It's tough to watch, bro.
Made it through that birthday week.
Yeah.
Milestone.
4-4.
Yeah.
Into my 45th year. It's been a good week, man. I haven't I didn't like necessarily like have these revelations of changing perspectives of something that's not gonna stick.
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm gonna tweak this.
Yeah. Realistically.
I'm gonna tweak this, and
Yeah.
it's been a good week. I'm working on my my attitude is bad. I'm working on my patience, my demeanor.
Right.
Like, I'm trying to actually be more like my wife, because with her, leave it to her, everything gonna work out.
Yeah.
It don't matter that we need to be there.
Don't matter.
When we get there, we get there.
It's about that energy.
And 99% of the time it's worked out, and I'm the only one mad.
See? See?
Yeah.
Pay attention.
Yeah.
But the good thing is, like you say, you see it. So you're tapping into it more.
Yeah. How was the rest of your week, man? Anything to share? We still hush hush?
So far, so good.
Okay.
You know, that's what I could say. So far, so good. No big notable change. It's just foundational.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Steadily doing research, having conversations, just trying to change some stuff up. Like I'm squeaking through in some areas I didn't know. I didn't know it was a squeak through until, you don't know something till you don't know it. That happened to me this week.
Gotcha.
So I found out I need to take another approach to some paperwork on something, but outside of that, we good, man.
Yeah, I got caught up with my city of Grand Prairie. Get off my back. Y'all good now. The quarterly filings.
Listen,
I had to sit down and put it together. Put it together.
Yeah.
So we square. Leave
we
me alone.
Square.
Leave me alone.
Bag. I like it. So today, before we get into that, I want you all to like, share, and subscribe.
All of that.
This morning it hit me. This gonna be a very energy charged episode. I feel like,
let's get to it.
And it's necessary. I'm glad it came the way it did.
Yeah.
I messaged just to catch the audience up. I rolled over, grabbed my phone, and texted him 5:30 this morning.
I was up. It was at a time that I was up.
Man, 5:30 this morning, it hit me. I was frustrated about some ideas. Before we go too deep, the title of this episode is, Dear Son, Black women are not your enemy.
Not your enemy.
They're not your enemy.
Not at all.
We typically, and we'll stick to that format now. I just want to set the tone of the importance of this discussion, this episode. So I hope this helped some people shed some light on some perspectives they have. So what do you feel, or how do you feel? You have 3 daughters.
I do.
You have a wife.
I do.
You have a living mother.
I do.
You have countless women that you...
Man, let me pause right there, because I sped past that I do, and not to be disrespectful.
No.
Because I probably take that for granted.
Listen, it's
probably take that for granted.
It's heavy.
Yeah.
And we typically do.
Yeah.
We get caught up in the day-to-day that that's mom's. Yeah, that's my wife. Yeah, those are my daughters. Yeah, that's my sister.
Yeah.
You understand? So I totally get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So with that, where do you stand? How do you want to open this episode with conveying the message of the importance of the Black woman is not your enemy?
Black woman birthed you. Let's start there. The Black woman birthed the woman that birthed you, birthed the man that birthed you. So there's a whole, there's the science of it.
Yeah.
Right. Of how you arrived. Right.
Right.
My story anyway, your story anyway. There are other stories where those dynamics are different, but we're talking about where those dynamics are with what I just said.
Right.
I've seen, start more generalized. I've seen in the workplace where I had to scratch and claw, had to be the smartest, had to be this, had to be 3 times that, 4 times that, just to be in a room. right? In the rooms where decisions are made, discussions are had that everybody isn't privy to. And sometimes I'm the only one.
Mhm.
Oftentimes I'm the only one of my race, male or female. So I have an appreciation for that struggle.
Yes.
And again, in the morning, I'm not being dismissive of it, but we're gonna bring it into the house.
Mhm.
But just in a more general sense of what their challenges are when I got in those rooms, what the conversations were, and when I stepped up and when I did not.
Right.
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 I left stepping up earlier in my career. I probably should have said more, and had more, used my voice for more influence.
Mhm.
But to be quite honest, I was barely in the room myself.
Right.
And that's something you got to learn is when you stand on something, you got to be prepared for all of what comes with it.
Absolutely.
And if you're ready to jump out the window, and I don't even think it's really jumping out the window, it's just really using, again, in the corporate set, using my influence for the good,
Mhm.
making sure that when I saw they weren't clearly seen or heard, I made provisions for it. Now,
Right.
luckily, I had the opportunity to be in a leadership position where I could have more influence and impact and effect, and I did that to the extent that I could. But I see their struggles. So I don't take it lightly.
Right. Right.
Then, like you said, I have a wife, I have 3 daughters and 2 sons, and I can't explain how far I would go, to what extremes I would go when it comes to them for simple matters,
Mhm.
let alone somebody playing with them.
Right.
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 I recognize when I'm out, sometimes I don't enjoy myself because I feel like I'm security.
Yes.
I'm,
Yeah.
I'm always on the watch. I'm watching a guy approach, even if it's my 10-year-old.
Right.
How are you looking at her?
Right.
Where did you get that from?
Right.
Where's that conversation? I notice I'm more aware of behaviors.
Mhm.
We were just talking about the game. You hear the young boys walking around cussing and talking about who they beat up, who they off, and this
Loose.
be that, this be that. And I'm not so far removed from being a teenager,
Mhm.
but I never had that energy for women.
Right. Right. Right.
Ever. I'm
Right.
not going to say I don't know, didn't see, wasn't around certain energies like that, but I just couldn't. To me, it never made sense to demean the one that you picked or the one that you pursued
Right.
or the
Don't
one
add
that
up.
you got.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm like, that's ultimately a reflection of you.
Right.
So to cut my ramble short before the deep dive, it was when you sent it, I probably had very similar energy,
Mhm.
and then all of what social media forced on me,
Right.
because again, I don't be looking for that stuff. That was the false accusations. You know, we talked about the Carly situation a while ago. There was another one involving allegations or allegedly getting hit with a brick.
Mhm.
Turns out to not exactly be what was stated.
Right.
Right. So it's the energy to protect because I have Black women in my house and I came from Black women.
Right.
Then it's the disappointment of the false accusations and the scams,
But
right?
yeah,
And kind of setting it back. And it's really ultimately endangering the innocent woman
True.
that needs the help, that needs the protection. And we're starting to see so many instances of being played with,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
not being respected and being played with.
Mhm.
Kind of sets up a dynamic that's going to get somebody, it's going to leave somebody fending for themselves when they shouldn't be.
When they should not be. Right. And I agree with that. And you said a lot of great points. You covered a lot of great points that we're going to kind of unpack
Yeah.
throughout the episode. The biggest thing is the good suffering with the bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think I'm not delusional about, how life works or what we deal with day to day in a society. But the big thing that does stand out is the good. There are those who have your best intentions,
Mhm.
right? But because You've seen people get played with, manipulated, used, ran through. Now we're such guarded people that we're everybody until you prove otherwise. Well, the issue with that is I feel like the cards are stacked against Black women.
Absolutely.
And what makes it disheartening is more often than not, it's coming from Black men. And that's the frustrating part. Like you can't help how other people treat you or their mindset towards you. However, within a culture where just like the biggest opening statement you made was the lineage, it doesn't fit everyone's story, but I know for a fact it's ours. My mother, grandmother on both sides, as far back as you can name, were Black women. So now for you to now have the audacity or the lack of connection with your son to make sure that you're having these conversations or to adjust that mindset, your frame of thought. So now if I'm in the house as a father and I'm raising sons, I have 3 sons inside the home with me with my wife. She's the only woman in the building right now. I have a daughter, but my daughter does not live with me.
Right.
So in my household, I'm very mindful of the things I say, the things I do in front of my sons as it pertains to their mother. I'm actively explaining what's going on to them. So I don't want you to just get it through osmosis. I want you to get this training manual with it.
Right.
Hey, you saw what I just did right there for your mom, or she didn't even know this happened. But like you said, we in an outing and you're in security mode. You can't help it. You scanning the room. You're looking for everything. You even quizzing. I quiz my sons. I quiz my wife. Did you see dude standing at the door? I missed that whole thing. How you see that? You never miss stuff like that. It's my job not to miss it.
Right.
So now you're trying to find ways to convey that to your son. So my concern is Black men and Black women are at war. I can only fix my approach. I can only fix my mindset and those that I have a direct connection to. I can't go around and tell every person how to think and how to move, right? So the Black men are complaining about the Black women, what they're not doing, their shortcomings. The Black women are doing the same towards the men. Well, you did this to me. Well, I only did this because you initiated this towards me. I'm not protected, so I have to be a strong, independent Black woman. Well, I'm not attracted to strong, independent Black women because I need a woman that needs me.
Yeah.
Well, you haven't shown yourself worthy of me relinquishing that control to you. It's a cycle.
Yeah.
Somebody has to eventually take the chance of breaking it down and saying, I'm going to take a chance on you.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the one that if I get bit, if it turns against me, it was worth it. Because what if it pans out? What if some young man and young girl, they're watching how you're interacting with this Black woman? I don't know this woman, she's a stranger, but this man made certain that he didn't let this other person continue to talk to that lady that way. How willing, or what is, I don't want to word it that way. There was a comment on social media. A lady was talking about her husband. She said her husband is not the protector of Black women.
Other women. Yeah.
He's her protector personally.
He signed up for her.
He signed up for her. What's your opinion or stance on that? How far is too far, or is there a reach? Should we be, as Black men, morally responsible for the collective? Like if I'm out and about with my wife and something's happening, depending on the severity, obviously, but if something's happening to another Black woman, she's being manipulated or abused in some type of way, should it be a rule of thumb? Son, intervene, or myself, intervene. This shouldn't be happening. What's your opinion of that?
Man, I think it's ultimately, like, we can sit here and we can infer or we can hypothesize if I see this is going to happen.
Right.
First time I saw a gun pull, I didn't go through my Rolodex of what I said I would do when I saw a gun pull. I reacted.
Right.
Right. So
Right.
what was in me was the only thing that could come out.
That's right.
So my thing is how I was raised,
Mm-hmm.
having a mother that did her best to protect me and protect my dad, in a way that was appropriate as far as I knew.
Mm-hmm.
I have an affinity towards somebody that looks like her. And that would be my default, is that this person is likely a good person, unless there was more of it that I could see.
Right.
But
Right.
typically you don't have, I don't know, maybe you could see something escalating for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And when you jump in, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's for me, it's based on the examples that I've seen.
Mhm.
Right. And I am acutely aware that there are women that have bad intentions.
Yes.
Right. There are women that bait men into actions, doesn't justify the men's actions or reactions, but I know that that exists.
Right.
Because of what I've seen, my mom, my sister, the women that I've been around, even the women that I've interacted with in terms of romantically loving them, wanting to protect them,
Yes.
all of that I think will position me to react to protect.
Yes.
Right. I mean, it's just, I don't know, like any time that I've been in fight or flight, you don't have the window of, now I wonder what she did to deserve this. You know what I'm saying? I don't.
It's not time to analyze.
Yeah, I can't.
Right.
I honestly can't see a situation where I can watch a woman get handled.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I, we've actually been in that situation very, very young. Story time. We were hanging out on a college campus. I can't remember if I was enrolled at that time, if I was on hiatus.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
nonetheless, it was the college that I ultimately graduated from. We were hanging out outside, ended up just kind of sitting on the car rapping,
Yeah.
me and a couple guys. And there was a couple in a Jeep, right? And you kind of look over and be like, yo, something ain't, nah, mind your business. Because it wasn't like physical, but you could see like the energy in the car. The car was parked, they were talking. They get out the car and like he starts walking around the car to her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yo, had my little Louisville slug. I grabbed my bag, like, what's popping?
Right.
Now he was on something because he was ready to be with whatever.
Yeah.
And we were too. Luckily it didn't go there, but she was like, it diffused the situation in the moment.
Yeah.
Because even though we had nothing to do with it, and in that situation, it was white couple. So it wasn't about seeing a black woman in the street. It was like, yo, this doesn't look right.
Right.
It's not gonna happen on our watch.
Right.
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 And it's
right,
not
right,
about being superheroes, but
right.
that's just one instance of it. Right. I could never stand by and watch any of my boys, not that they were that kind,
Right. Right.
but had that kind of aggression toward a woman. It
Right.
just it doesn't sit right with me.
Right. Right.
So I can't guarantee how it's going to turn out, but I could probably guarantee that it would be both of us or him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and it's not, again, it's not like not like a conscious decision, but thankfully I'm not jaded by being worked over. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Constantly put in situations. Now I've seen that too, where a girl, a couple will go out and she likes the action.
Yeah.
So she wants to see somebody fight, or she wants to run her mouth or anything like that.
Yes.
Now, ultimately, I won't be around you again.
Right.
But in that moment, you're not gonna get yourself slapped, and that's all of it with me.
Right. Right. To that point, that is an aspect of one of the issues we do have. And what I mean by that is I've listened to black men have one bad experience with a black woman and they're done.
Off that.
Done. Never going there again, never doing it again. I only date other races, other nationalities. I'm not touching a black American woman ever again. One bad instance. One. However, jump across the fence, getting ran through. But you don't see it the same And the issue is, it's not just in dating.
Yeah.
That's why I'm glad you gave examples of the professional, the corporate world.
Yeah.
It's dating, it's personal, it's family, family members. You know, I've seen people treat the Black women family members a certain kind of way
Right.
for that same reason. The issue is we have to, and it's deeper. I don't want to go into other issues because we do the same with business.
Mm.
You know, we don't hold others to the same standard.
Yep.
You know, if I shop or network Black business, you got one time. You have one chance to earn my loyalty indefinite.
And I want a discount.
Yeah, and I want a discount.
Crazy.
However, I'll go into, you know, a counterpart, competitor.
Mm-hmm.
They got all the chances in the world.
Yeah.
You know,
I'll just file a complaint. I'm still going to shop.
I'm still going to shop nonstop.
Yeah.
So the same with the woman issue.
Mm-hmm.
So now I think we're out of touch with the need. Men need women, women need men. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your sexual orientation is.
Right.
There's just a natural counterbalance. In my opinion, these are my opinions. I'm not bashing any group of people or
Right.
afraid of any group of people, what have you. But however, the compassion that I do have, however little or much exists, I got it from the Black women in my family. And that's not to say other women can't.
That's your experience.
I can only speak on my experience.
Right.
So now we're so caught up, we're so bullheaded as young Black men to where the common thread is nobody can tell you anything. Nobody can tell you anything. Here's the issue. The issue is we as men, we're so gung-ho about grabbing our son saying, stop hugging on him, you're going to make him soft. Stop. He's going to be under your coattail. You're making him soft. You're making him tender. You're making him too. It had to be explained to me that that's just as necessary as this hard, crass example that you are trying to portray.
Right.
He needs that balance because now when it's time to express compassion or display compassion or use discernment,
Mm-hmm.
you don't really get that from other men.
Yeah.
You get that from the touch, the gentleness of a woman, your Black woman, your mother, your sister, your aunts. All this extended family is very, very important. Close friends of your mom who in turn become your aunts because they're sisters now because they so close. All of these touches, we're out of touch. We got away from as a community, as a culture. We got away from the reverence we used to have that no matter how tough a man was, a Black man was generations ago,
Mm-hmm.
if that Black woman said something or expressed her dislike or disdain toward anything he had going on,
Cut through his soul.
it's over with.
Cut through his
It
soul.
stops there. And somewhere along the line, we got away from that. So now, what we're going through now is a product of, she can't tell me nothing, the disrespect. We just have a total disregard for one another, Black men and Black women. We have a total disregard.
I think a lot of that stems from communication, a lack of communication. Like I can't honestly say I had a conversation with any woman that I was romantically involved with. Like, hey, what's your expectations of me when it comes to protecting you?
Right.
Here's what I expect for you to, how you can protect me, because it's mutual, right? It's not that she's throwing hands. I do know some women that do that.
Yes.
I married one.
As did I.
Sheryl Rowe absolutely throw hands,
Yeah.
but it's like, how do you, there are things that you see that could potentially harm me that I completely aloof to. And I get that.
Right.
So like it's the mutual respect for each other to protect you in ways that I can better.
Yeah.
And you to protect me in ways that you can better. Maybe that's because you see things differently, or you have that intuition, or you have that instinct about how it works out.
Yeah.
But absent those conversations, we don't know what the expectations are until there's a scenario to judge on social media.
Yeah.
Right. And now you're talking about, well, I would never. And you sitting right beside the person that feels differently.
Feels totally different.
Differently than you do. And you don't know that. And just, and you know, in a general aspect, part of my issue is choosing not to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
Right. When I feel a way about something, choosing to work through it on my own without
Right.
giving them that space to actually be there.
Right.
Right. And now
Right.
it starts to create resentment in certain capacities. Right.
Yes.
And now you're going through life having all of this burden, some the world puts on you, some you choose to carry. And you feel like, or you don't have that rapport or the relational equity. I stole that from somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
To confide in that person and ease some of that load.
Right.
So now you're thinking, well, if it's all on me, she want to do her, it's all on her. She'll get whatever's coming to her. Like, I got enough on my plate.
Wow.
I got to worry about all of this. They're never there for me, or you don't allow them to be there for you. So you don't even know how it would go. Right. So I think we carry around this resentment and it manifests in different ways.
Yes.
Maybe it's not overt, yelling or screaming or cursing them out. It's curving them in certain situations or excluding them from certain situations, thoughts and desires that you have.
Yes.
Right. But all of it comes to this this tipping point where the one thing sends you over the top. Right. And then you're not prepared to deal with it.
Yes.
And again, this is not an excuse. I think this is what happens.
Right. Right.
I am aware of people that have abused women.
Yes.
Right. And
Yes.
I watch stories, I watch documentaries, and it's almost like in some cases they got to a point faster than they realized because they've been carrying all of this stuff.
Right.
And again, it's not an excuse, but what I'm saying is these things combined with other stressors that we'd have no control over, from work, from society, from seeking opportunities, buying a home, qualifying for this or qualifying. The redlining still exists, but it's just silent.
Yes.
Like all of these things, I think men try to carry them
right.
and burden that load. And when they explode, it's at a very inopportune time, and they get what comes with that, unfortunately. Fortunately,
yeah.
Unfortunate that it had to go that way.
Yeah, that it took that.
Yeah.
And sticking with communication, I'm going to go through a scenario that's loaded with triggers, but I want to present it in a way where I'm attempting to jump on each side of the fence, and depending on which side of the fence the person is standing on, each perspective is going to sound right, depending on who. This is hopefully going to help some people realize where they stand. At the top of the show, we were talking about men being natural protectors.
Mm-hmm.
You can go through so much that eventually you convince yourself that anything that goes against your idea of what that looks like, they're an enemy. And what I mean by that is modern day society, the wardrobe, if you will, is a bit more laxed than it's ever been in the history of mankind.
Except Adam and Eve. It kind of reversed, right?
Yes.
He's bucket naked.
Right. But I mentioned to a lady once that I just didn't understand how now, not attacking anybody, it's my personal opinion and views.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't understand how some women felt comfortable enough to come out wearing something where you literally could see every crease, crevice, whatever they had going on. And they still felt like if I didn't ask you to look at these things that I'm presenting, You should respect me and my mind enough not to look at those things. Okay, well, let's unpack that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're single, you're free, you can do what you want. I agree with that. Do other people have the right to violate you and do certain things to you because you're dressed a certain way? No.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
However, when you enter into a relationship with someone who cares for you, and perhaps they're not comfortable with that, and they express it without giving you the reason, they just say, I don't want you wearing that. I've heard women, a particular woman that had this conversation, I would never date a guy that tried to control me like that and tell me what I could and could not wear. Perspective is everything. Because if you receive it as that person's being controlling
Right.
or dictating to you how to dress or what you should look like in public, that is an issue. But if y'all communicate and have that deeper conversation and you say, well, if you don't want me to wear this, where is this rooted in? Now, does this young man or this man, whatever age he is, does he have the emotional intelligence to convey?
Right.
Here's the issue. First off, I'm responsible for your safety. I've heard someone put it this way. I'm responsible for your safety. If we're out and about and if you're dressed a certain way, there are ignorant people that are walking around that just don't have self-control.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't. That's the reality of life. So now you are dressed a certain way or present yourself a certain way that entices this person to feel comfortable enough to disrespect you. Perhaps he doesn't know I'm with you. You go off to the bar or you go to the restroom or I walk away and you're by yourself. Single people perhaps operate a certain way in spaces.
Mm-hmm.
Now he comes at you this way. So now you're saying, no, I'm good. I'm not here for that, or I'm with someone. And they just don't take no for an answer, or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm responsible in my world, and the person that I'm married to co-signs on this. She's in agreement with it. I didn't force her into, I'm here to protect you. She's accepting of it.
It's a role.
So because she is, now it's my responsibility to get you from this situation safely. You covered. You with me, this not happening. So, because now I've explained to you, if you're dressed a certain way or if you look a certain way, and it does create these scenarios and situations where we're always arguing or beefing with somebody because they're disrespecting you or they're coming at you disrespectful just because I got on these types of clothes. Well, won't you meet the man in the middle and y'all find out what's comfortable for the both of y'all? What's the compromise? Flip side of the coin, perspective again. Women, be mindful though of the insecure man who's trying to disguise his insecurities with, I can't protect you if you dress like that. You have to know who you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Have those deep conversations and truly communicate. Nah, you don't care about me. This is selfish. This is selfish-based. You're insecure. You can't handle the type of attention I get. So there's no way to know where it's rooted in without communication.
That's what I was going to say. Communication is root of all of it, because two people could be attracted to each other and not be able to get past that. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Go your separate ways.
Right.
Right. And it's not saying women convert or men like dial it down.
Right.
You got to find somebody that you're compatible with.
Right.
So if I also believe that there are women that have been in situations where they were with the simp that was just couldn't take it.
Yeah.
It didn't matter how she dressed. Right. Of course, different styles accentuate differently and draw more attention.
Yes.
And I want to be very clear, that's never the woman's fault.
Right. No.
That's never the woman's fault.
No.
The reaction, like you're free to wear what you want to wear. If I don't agree with it, that's a personal choice, and we wouldn't be connected like that.
Correct.
You weren't looking for me. I wasn't looking for you. Live your life.
Yeah.
But I do understand what you're talking about. Like when I'm out with my wife, that again, things in spaces that we might be naive to. Like if we're in a social setting and somebody's being overly nice, we might just be like,
She's so cool.
we just mixing it up. It's crazy. But they see differently. They see motive.
Right.
Same with us.
Correct.
Let me get that for you, sweetie.
Go watch it.
Like,
Hold on, player.
like,
Hold on, player.
Like what we,
She
what,
good.
Yeah, what we doing?
That, yeah.
Because there's always that, and it's unfortunate that that you have to manage your relationships to that level of ignorance, but that's the world.
It is.
So if you're going to exist in the world, you need to be mindful of things that come with people in the world, right? If you can defer to somebody that has a bit more insight, having lived the life of a man, their whole life, it can tell you about some things. I think we got intuition too. We just like we know what's popping.
Yeah.
Probably in some instances because we've been that before, so we can recognize it.
Yes.
But it's the clothing thing is always interesting to me because I've heard some women complain about both sides. Right. Where if you're not even pressing it, they might be talking to their girlfriend and saying, "Girl, I don't even want that kind of attention tonight." We're talking about the same thing.
We are.
Some just don't like the fact that it came from a man, so it seems like a directive. It's just insight.
It's just
insight. And then there are couples that go out and, their man is fine with it.
Yes.
Look at all the movie stars and TV shows where everybody's in these, sexual fantasies and scenarios with it. They're not faking that.
Right.
Like that stuff is really happening. So it's my man is so secure. I don't care how secure it is. Here's the thing. If it's for me, it's for me.
Right.
If it's not, it's not. And I'm not going to force you to become that. And I'm not going to talk you're not a derogatory name to me because you don't fit my standard.
You're just not for me.
And if I don't fit yours,
I'm not for you.
Cool.
Yeah.
Luckily, I'm neither in or on the market. No. So this is just the old head perspective. But but again, I got daughters, man. So my oldest daughter is on the social scene now. She's 20. Right. And we've had experiences with some guys that didn't have the best intention.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Thankfully, now that she's 20, it's fair game.
Yeah.
As long as they're 18 or older.
Correct.
It's a whole. So I'm saying it's there's that element of it in my house, and I want. It's also tough to compete with social media in the sense of what they're defining as freedom or being you or living your truth. All of those things are oftentimes pretty packaging for some poor moral choices.
Yes.
Men and women.
Yes.
I've made several.
Yeah.
So this is not a call from atop a high horse, but you gotta be mindful of it.
Please.
Right? My job with my 20-year-old, my 18-year-old is not to dictate their life. It's to give them enough so that they recognize what's happening around them. That's one thing my children would. I am the most annoyed when they're not aware of what's happening right beside you.
Oh yeah. Oh
you
yeah.
ain't paying attention to nothing.
Head on the swivel. Immediate quiz on the spot.
Yeah.
Hey, what we just walked by.
Right.
I do it all the time.
Right.
How many people were right there in that corner when we passed by that door?
Right.
You don't have a clue, do you?
Yeah. Ask me to take you somewhere. You don't know how to get there.
You don't know how to get there.
You was on your phone.
Correct.
The whole time. Yeah. I mean, there's so much to Black women not being an enemy, and even in terms of what's presented to us in entertainment, what's presented to us by, what we see with those who look like us that choose others when they're successful.
Right.
I mean,
I got one for you.
I understand why we question our worth. I understand it. It's painful. I don't agree with much of what people say we are, right? Especially those that don't look like us, haven't lived that life. But there's something deeper to seeing someone that looks like you and hating.
It is.
Even men against men amongst men, right?
It is.
I think there's a time for combat. I mean, war fighting has been around since the beginning of time, but for no other reason than you looking like me, we got a problem.
We got a problem.
That doesn't stop man to man.
No.
That spills over, right?
Completely.
Yeah.
That whole subset can get it.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. That is a problem. There's another component to this uplifting and building as well. There are people, and this can be applied, you can fill in the blank, but for the sake of this conversation, we're going to keep it here.
Mm-hmm.
There are people who they're not in your league. So what I mean by that, let me bring that home.
Mm-hmm.
More often than not, Black women are labeled as loud or aggressive, combative.
Mm-hmm.
We're a very compassionate, energetic people, men and women.
Yeah.
And to create these Black men, you have to think of how diverse that source has to be for the men, the Black men that you see, and all of the great things and all of the descriptive adjectives you would use to describe them as well.
Mm-hmm.
Think about where they had to come from. So that's not to say your attitude or your personality matches or mimics your mother's.
I see what you're saying.
However, that fruit came from that tree. So that tree may be capable, just don't present it that way. So I say that to say, I would like to encourage parents that are raising young Black girls to be strong Black women in life. I would like to say parents raising young Black boys to be adult Black men that will date and interact with these Black women.
Mm-hmm.
Meet her where she is. And what I mean by that is, if you are capable of maintaining life on a 5, at a level 5, if this Black woman is resonating at a 9 or 10, she's out of your league.
Leave her be.
Don't try to dumb her down or insult her or break her to come down to your level for the comfort of your selfish gain. I'm going to manipulate you into wanting me and being on my level. I'm going to convince you know better than me. When in actuality, she running circles around you.
That's an esteem at you. You can't stand it. You can't bear to see somebody that has done the work that you haven't and got results that you haven't.
Absolutely.
Male or female.
I don't want to go too deep into that topic because that.
Yeah, we're going to get to it.
Yeah, we're going to have a discussion about such.
We're definitely going to get to it, man. But I, like even the topic as we're discussing it, the Black woman is not your enemy. Because I've never thought she was.
Yes.
Part of me is like, man, that's so far-fetched. But the logical me that can't ignore what I actually see in real life, there's plenty of examples that suggest that Black men think otherwise.
Yeah.
And it's puzzling to me, man. I wonder, I get interested in what experiences men have had that would cause them to see a Black woman as their enemy. Because if you've had 3 experiences and all 3 are negative,
right, and
all 3 had a very common look, feel, and just say look and feel, that look and feel was probably no longer appealing to you.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Now you could have chosen bad. Maybe it's your decision making.
You're the common denominator.
And you're the common denominator. Is the root of it. I'm saying I understand how just the analytics of it.
Yes.
Numerically.
Yes.
Right. These are probabilities. So I can understand it. But that aside, it just sends me wondering about like how extreme of a circumstance have I been? That's what it is. How fortunate am I that this is preposterous to me?
You're very fortunate, and I'll tell you something. I think what would help is we have to broaden our scope and our horizon. And when I say we, there have been instances I've caught myself. I had a situation, a scenario, a relationship that went terribly wrong eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you package that thing up, and that's what I never want to see this again. Well, I had to learn to broaden the scope, meaning it wasn't a black woman that does this. It's a woman that does this. You dislike the type of characteristics and character and habits that this person displayed.
Yeah.
You can remove the fact that she was a black woman. We've been conditioned to think that way, though, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, the Blind Side guy dropped a lawsuit coming at the people.
Yeah.
There were a ton of comments, man, that hit social media that said, "Oh, we're making a big deal out of this. Let's sum it up. He married a black woman, the end." Wait a minute, bro. What that mean? So when you dig into it, they're trying to say, because he married a black woman, the black woman coerced him into now going against and biting the hand that fed him. He knew all along all of these things he had going on. He signed up for this, he signed up for that, but he didn't have an issue with it until he married a black woman. Why couldn't it be until he got married and his current wife looked over some details and some documents perhaps that we don't have access to, or perhaps having intimate conversations with this man that he expressed some thoughts and feelings he's never expressed to anyone else. Perspective is everything.
Right.
So, but before we can just broaden the scope and say his wife, he married a black woman, the end. And the author of that comment was a black person, a person of color. Throw that black word around, person of color, because for the sake of the conversation. But you understand. Yeah. So we're so conditioned to, we look at tragedy. If something happens and it's not desirable, we want to know, was it a black woman or was it a other?
First question.
If it's other, a woman walks into a store and does this. If it's a black woman, a combative black woman walks into the store and does this. Exact same scenario.
Yeah.
But you have to be mindful of the narrative, because now they're trying to, and I say we are guilty as well, black men.
Yep.
We make the same mistake. Oh, here we go. Anytime a black woman says anything that aggravates us as men, we want to blame it on all black women.
That's dangerous. It is. The grouping is dangerous, man. And that's a cop out. That's like when you get married, they say don't use never, always, don't use definitive.
Right.
Or descriptors that don't allow for any other way to be. Yeah. Right. Any other time that it happened differently. And it's a lot to combat, because even from an entertainment perspective, saying entertainment as a blanket statement is not accurate, because there's content that is morally positive. There's like we try to make this platform. If you search hard enough, you can find something that is entertaining and it adds value, of good value.
Right.
But what's packaged and displayed so much is us, examples of us accepting less than we are, or being portrayed as less than we are, because the financial upside is there, right? And then how do you blame them when that's their opportunity to get out, right? And some selfishly are like, I'm out of here. Some might be of the mindset of, well, if I can get this bread, I can invest and do some things that are different. But all the while perpetuating the stereotypes and the how others want us to see each other.
True.
Right?
True.
That don't have a vested interest in us succeeding and becoming the best versions of us that we can. So it's hard to, at this stage, the conversation flows easily, but 30 years ago, the conversation may not have flowed like this with me, because what I was still feeding myself mentally was the opposite of what I knew to be. And like I said in the beginning, man, when you get in these scenarios, the only thing that can come out is what you put in.
That's a fact.
And if you put so much of that in, it may land you in a situation where you react based on this story that's been formed in your head through a beat and a hook.
Right.
Right? Because you think that's somebody's real life and it resonates with you for some reason. But that's the art of music. Music is like, that's why they say music transcends every language, age, because it sonically opens your mind up to whatever is layered with.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, that's why music has moods. It yields moods. So I'm not talking about trap. I'm talking about jazz. I'm talking about Beethoven.
Yes.
Classical music.
Classical
like
music.
It takes you to a place.
It does.
And we got to stop fooling ourselves that it's just this.
No.
It's just entertainment. No, it's entertaining.
But it's deeper than that.
But it's so much other things, so many other things, so many layered messaging that are at work and at play in real time. And you don't even, like, it's like a song come on now that you would never say right now. You know all the words.
All of them.
Ain't listened to it in 20 years.
It's locked in. It's been embedded.
And it
yeah.
you might start morphing into who you thought that
your
character was.
Who character and demeanor change, and somebody who just met you in the last 15 years and wasn't around at the time, wouldn't recognize who this character is if you haven't tapped into that around these people before. So
there's no single source. There's no single answer. The answer is not to abuse women anyway.
No,
ever.
No. And hopefully this conversation lead to other conversations individually.
Yeah, have me in your house.
Yeah, please, because it's not going to stop. It's not working.
Yeah.
Like right now, it's not working. It's getting better. I see more relationships. I see more marriages. I see more healthy discussions being had. But until it becomes cultural, as cultural as the music, as cultural as the beliefs and the traditions, once it becomes a tradition again to not attack each other, then we'll start to see a difference in change.
Yep. Gotta honor yourself, honor God, honor yourself, and that'll position you to be honorable in life.
Absolutely.
Man.
I think there's a good stop, little hold.
Yeah. Hopefully, it'll drive some more comments or some more conversation. We should probably go live on it at some point.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go live next week. It's out there.
Next week?
It's out there.
Next week.
It's out there.
So when y'all see us live, you're going to know when this came out.
It's out there. Yeah.
This episode dropped, and we'll be live at the time that it's dropping, because that'll be at the same time that y'all don't understand.
Yeah, man.
They said they would do it.
Definitely a good stopping point here.
Yeah.
Shout out to the usuals. Love Keisha J Studios, Johnson Company, all of the brands associated with it.
Yes, sir.
Flexion
Chiropractic, Exertion Diagnostics. I'm gonna make some phone calls this week. I thought about it today. A young man popped in my head, pretty influential guy back in Shreveport, Louisiana, making a lot of moves. Matter of fact, he's an author. I'd like to reach out to him and try to see if he can, or see how open he is about sitting down and having a conversation, because he had a book that was written, and it addressed the very thing that we're talking about, trying to help young men, young boys become better men. He discusses some of his background, some of the things he did, went through and experienced. And a lot of people from my hometown, they have those same experiences. So just a tap in, try to keep everybody going, see what we got. So again, we can't express enough. Like, share, subscribe. The support is amazing. We're getting a lot of feedback. We're getting a lot of interaction, questions, topics, concerns. We have a good constant, steady base of viewers who are fans of the show. For lack of a better term, I like to say they fans of the show. I'm a fan of the show. But whenever we talk about a topic, we get a lot of information or feedback or inboxes, messages that say, hey, I loved it, but I wish y'all would have went deeper here or talked about this more. And we love that, because now we may not go back and reshoot this episode, but we'll mention it in another episode or another topic that we have that can tie right into it. And we'll let that kind of tie into the show as well. So that could even, who knows, give us some more information. And some topics we've discussed have come from comments in the inbox. So thank y'all for tuning in, paying attention. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Appreciate you guys. God bless you. Peace. Well, I could not hold. I could not hold it.
They tried to count me out. I'ma gon' count me in. Fill up my bank account. Now I got something to spend.